All right. Hello, everyone. So my name is Allie Virtue. I am the owner of Parkside Nutrition, and I am a nutritionist. And today we are talking about how you can improve your gut health naturally. So let's go ahead and get started. So who am I? I'm a functional medicine nutritionist and nutrition coach. I like the both of those because you can know all the things being a nutritionist, or most of the things, but you also have to be a coach and get people to make changes. And that's what a coach does. They teach and correct your form and help you become better. So that's why I love those particular two titles. But today my goal is to provide value and education so that you are truly diet proof and hopefully media proof when it comes to all things weight loss and gut health. All right, disclaimer, this is very broad advice meant to educate only. Always talk to your healthcare provider before making any changes or if you are having symptoms. I divided it down to 10 simple steps. 10's a lot, but this is kind of what my checklist, so to speak, is what I would follow if someone was presenting with very mild things to more severe things. And I would kind of go through this list. 10 steps to hopefully feeling better no matter where you are at with your digestive issues. Number one is reducing stress. So our nervous system, as far as digestion is concerned, kind of has two settings. We have rest and digest, and we have fight or flight. The rest and digest, the one on the left here, is called parasympathetic nervous system. And the one on the right here is called sympathetic nervous system. And we really want to be in the rest and digest, that parasympathetic, because that stimulates a lot of the proper digestive pathways, right? It secretes pancreatic enzymes into your digestive tract. It secretes HCl to help you digest protein in your stomach. It secretes saliva. So it's really helpful to be in that correct setting. And that's by reducing stress, working away from your computer, most likely away from stressful things, screens, stuff like that. So taking big deep breaths before you eat and being in that calm state can really help. All right, chewing your food really thoroughly. This is like the best way to digest your food. If you want to call this like an extra supplemental thing you can do, is just chewing it really, really well. It can be really helpful. Another course or resource that you guys can check out is parksidenutrition.com. And I have a mindful eating practices mini course there. Very quick, but very powerful, teaching you some really simple skills to improve your digestion, to improve your relationship with food. Both of those actually usually work hand in hand very nicely. So definitely check out that course. And this is what it looks like. All right, 3, consume mostly whole foods. This is the one I have to say, it's kind of a disclaimer. It's not really anything surprising, right? But I want to include some animal proteins. I want to include some colorful plants in the mix, starches in moderation, minimal to zero alcohol or processed sugar products. So ideally my plate is looking like it does here, right? So I have a good amount of protein. I have some healthy fats, some starchy carbohydrates, but most of my plate, half of it, is these colorful plants. Can be some fruits, vegetables, things like that. And then eating fermented food each day, or at least a couple times a week, would be great. So these, not an exhaustive list here, but kimchi, kefir, yogurt, kombucha, things like that. These products really help provide your bacteria, or provide good bacteria into the system. They don't necessarily stay there forever, but reintroducing them on a consistent basis can be really helpful and help some digestive issues and kind of balance out your gut bacteria. The next thing we want to do, so if we introduce good bacteria into the system, we want to make sure that they can actually survive. So this is where having a fiber-rich diet and having a variety of plant fibers, because different bacteria eat different fibers. And so if you see the word probiotics means the bacteria themselves. Prebiotics means the fibers that feed that specific bacteria. So that's really important to have a variety of prebiotic fibers to feed a variety of really healthy gut bacteria, and that promotes diversity in the gut. Beans, different types of vegetables, avocados have a good amount of fiber, oats have a good amount of fiber. So make sure you're getting a variety of those. And spices and herbs are really cool. One, because they could be prebiotic fibers, but they also have a naturally kind of balancing effect on the gut. Some of them can have pretty potent antimicrobial components to them. Oregano is a pretty potent antimicrobial herb that we can incorporate either in, supplement form if we need a little bit stronger version, or just as part of our regular diet. And do this when you're feeling good. So this can be a good balancing effect. So make sure that you have a variety of those things in your diet as well. Plus they add a lot of flavor. All right, remove food triggers. This seems really simple, but I talk to so many people when I actually ask them, have any allergies or resistance to food, and they'll say no. And I'm like, is there any type of food that you don't eat too often because you know it doesn't make you feel good? So just reframing that question, people will start to list some. So these ones pictured are really just common inflammatory ones. So we have alcohol, we have wheat or gluten, processed sugar in large amounts, dairy products, eggs. Eggs are not dairy, by the way, but they're in that picture. Egg, peanuts, red meat for some people, and soy. So these are very individual based on the person, but if there are foods that bother you, other things not pictured here could be onions, if they give you heartburn, or nightshades, or things like that. If you know those foods give you an issue, please avoid avoid them if you are experiencing gut issues. Don't exacerbate it. Give your body a break so it can heal. All right, so this is kind of alluding to the next one, but elimination diet. This is by far one of the best things you can do to improve your diet and realize how good you could possibly feel and give your body a chance to heal. So it's anywhere from 3 to 6 weeks, depends on the person, but 3 weeks is really a minimum. I prefer to go with 4 and then work from there. If people still aren't feeling quite as good as they think they should, you might extend it out to 6, etc. But this is followed by reintroduction. So we took out a bunch of foods, a lot of which were pictured here. So we're going to reintroduce them, usually in the order that people missed them. So if you really miss cheese or milk or whichever, we're going to reintroduce those and see what your symptoms are like. So see what those foods might be causing as far as symptoms. Things I'm not going to reintroduce are probably alcohol. I think that should be moderated. There's no real benefit to alcohol as far as gut health or overall health. Highly, highly recommend an elimination diet. It's not always easy, so I do recommend working with someone to do that. To one, make sure you stay accountable, make sure you do it in a really systematic fashion so you get the most information you possibly can out of that reintroduction phase. And then other therapeutic diets, honestly, elimination diet goes really, really far, but other therapeutic diets, if you don't see enough relief from there, things like low FODMAP, specific carbohydrate diet, AIP or autoimmune paleo, and then the elemental diet. Those are another step as far as commitment and work and dedication beyond the elimination diet typically. And those I wouldn't necessarily implement, just to give it a try. Work with someone and make sure that your effort is worth it when we're putting that much work into modifying or doing a specific therapeutic diet. None of these diets, by the way, are long-term. They're meant to heal and they're meant to be temporary. And then lastly is getting more information. If you've done all of this, then you really need to get more information. Talk to your doctor, talk to your primary care provider, see if they can get you a referral to someone who can help you deal with the symptoms that you're experiencing. Getting basic blood work, stool tests can be a good place to go. I list these as number 10, but ironically, I list this as number 10 because you have to go to a doctor to get access to this, right? But quite often I see a lot of clients that go through this. They've gotten blood work. Maybe they've gotten a stool test, probably not. Breath test, maybe not. Those are a little bit come secondary typically, but they've had a colonoscopy or something along those lines. Maybe they have had a stool test and everything came back really good. Or maybe they've been tested for celiac disease and everything came back good, but they're still having symptoms. They're still having troubles. That's when dietary changes can really help. This can kind of come first. This can kind of come last, but if you're putting in the work to change your diet and you're still not seeing the relief that you want, definitely going back and getting some more help and more testing can be really helpful. But this is where I would start. This is my kind of framework of A to Z, whether that is constipation, bloating, heartburn. Going through this list is really helpful to address a lot of those specific issues. Notice that supplements aren't on here because I would prefer that people work on the diet side of things first. Then we can add in supplements that are very specific for the specific issue for that person. And same thing when it comes to probiotics. Probiotics should be very specific for the person, but those food first modalities, aka the natural ones that we naturally have access to, that's why I'm leaning towards those ones first. If you have any other questions, let me know. You can visit parksidenutrition.com or email me, Allie@parksidenutrition.com, and I will try to get back to you. But hopefully this was helpful, and make sure you subscribe for more information like this. Thanks.